So I am a general contractor and home builder. I've been here in the US for 9 years now. And I came up here at first to try to go to college, to try to improve my life in Brazil. Think of it. And when I got over here, life was rough. I went through a lot of stuff. I used to be a cleaner, and I used to clean buildings for $4 an hour, working overnight. Every night. So very quickly I became very depressed, and I started looking for an opportunity to work during the day because I couldn't do that anymore. It was a nightmare. And then someone offered me an opportunity to be a helper of a painter and to work during the day. November 1st, 2016 was the first time that I worked during the day in America at $10 an hour. That was everything to me. And because now I had the opportunity to sleep at night, I decided that I was gonna do the best out of that opportunity. So I always had this wild spirit inside of me. I always wanted to be a business owner. So in 3 months, I opened my own painting company. I started looking for my own clients, talking to friends, and eventually I became a remodeling company, and eventually I became a home builder. So we're going to 9 years now. So that's my story. I went through a lot of things. Trying to tell you my story about entrepreneurship in 40 minutes is the same thing of trying to teach you how to bake a cake in 5 seconds. You think you can do it?
No.
Okay, 5 seconds, you teach me how to bake a cake. 3, 2, 1.
Add water to the mix, stir it, put it in a baking pan, put it in the oven.
Really good. He did it. So I think I can do it too. He did it really good. Let's start with you guys. So who over here wants to open a business? Everyone. You too? Kind of, not sure. Do I have something to write on the board? Why do you guys want to open a business?
Because I want to be my own boss.
Okay. So right here, we're going to talk a little bit about the pros and the cons. So own boss. What else?
Like your own schedule.
All right. Would say freedom.
Yeah.
I'll write schedule here. Schedule, freedom. What else? What have you guys heard about the benefits of owning your own company?
You get to make like important decisions.
All right. Important decisions. What else? You guys heard more than that.
You make lots of money.
There you go, my favorite one. Just a second, because I want to make sure we... 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're in the millions now. Let's add one more. And then the cents right here. Lots of money. Okay. What else? At least one more reason.
Okay, come on. You get to pick who works for you.
Oh, wow. Choose employees. All right. So I'm just going to write right here, employees. What have you heard about the downside of owning a business?
It's expensive.
Okay, expensive. Go for it. Let's do this quick. Expensive, what else?
Time consuming. Takes a lot of work.
A lot of work. What did you say right here?
Time consuming.
All right. So lots of work. Time consuming. What else?
Stressful.
Let me write this one as a big one. Stress. What else?
Everyone in your life.
For everyone in your life, especially the wife.
Failure.
Oh boy, I don't know which one should be bigger now. Failure. All right. So let me tell you, after 9 years in this business, because I used to have business in Brazil too. I used to be an English teacher, and I ended up in construction. Never thought I would, but I managed to make the best out of it. After all those years, I can promise you that owning a business can be very joyful. Yes, you go through this, But if you're willing to learn it and to manage it, you will overcome it. But if you're a little stubborn, this may break you apart. And that's the first thing you need to know. That all those things are true. There is a lot of money involved in it. There's a lot of freedom. If you do it the right way. The right way, okay? And so, boy, I went through a lot of stress. Let me tell you, I did a lot of stress. When you open a business, right in the beginning, the business tends to become who you are. The business takes on your personality. That's very common. For me, it was very problematic. There are many things I could teach you about business today, but we don't have time. So I'm going to share with you what I had to learn to become successful. Some of the things that I had to learn, you might already know, but let me tell you who I was. So I came from poverty. 5 generations before me in Brazil, we were broke as heck, very poor. My mom never finished elementary school. My dad never finished high school. My mom got married when she was 14. How old are you guys? 16? Yeah. When she was your guys' age, I was being born. And the consequence of that, even though I'm very grateful that she chose to give life to me at a very young age, because there's a pro to that, which is I'm 33, she's only 52. So my mom is my best friend today. But she had to pay a ginormous price, which was she didn't have an education. She didn't have basic education, and both my parents had to work in the roughest jobs ever. So they were always gone. I was always alone. And whenever we had to buy a pair of shoes, we would go downtown on a Saturday, and we would walk a lot to find the cheapest shoes, because we barely had money for food. Even our nutrition was messed up. So we barely had money for food. And when I did need shoes, they would spend hours looking for the cheapest one. Fast forward to America, when I opened my own business, I have this mindset that people are only going to buy from me if I am the cheapest person or the cheapest painter at the time. Now, I would like to hear from you guys. What type of problems do you think that mindset created to me?
The quality is not going to be as good.
The quality is not as good.
Not a lot of profit.
Not a lot. Is it bad to not have any profit?
Yeah.
It's awful. And what else? Not a lot of quality. Even though when I was on the job site, if I knew I was going to be broke at the end of the job, I would still deliver a good job. But that generated what? Stress. You know how it feels like to know, like, I'm going to paint this house, it's going to look amazing, and I'm still going to have to find another job to pay my bills. That was awful. So what happened is I became very depressed. Guys, I became depressed so quickly. All of those things right here, they started weighing heavy on me. So again, I want you guys to participate a little bit. Why was I in this problem?
Because you wanted to be cheap so people would use you, but you didn't make enough profit to actually have a sustainable company.
Perfect. That's it. Eventually, I became so depressed that I didn't want to live anymore. And that is the main part of my story. I got to a point where I looked up to heaven and I said, I don't want to live anymore. I have a daughter. I'm not able to provide for her. I'm not able to provide for myself. I'm not able to provide for my family. And I remember thinking to myself, I just need one reason to stay alive right now. Because I left my family, I left my friends, I left everything I knew for this. I have no friends. I can't do this anymore. So I was fishing at Utah Lake one day, looking for one reason to stay alive. And out of the sudden, I had this visualization, like this vision. I imagined myself 100 years later in heaven, meeting my daughter, and my daughter hugging me and saying, "Oh, Daddy, I love you so much. I missed you." And then asking me that question, "Daddy, why did you leave me? what would I say? I thought I took my own life because I wasn't able to pay rent, I wasn't able to be happy, and I didn't want it to be a broken daddy for you. In my mind, I had the thought of what she might have told me. And I picture her looking deeply inside of me and saying, but Daddy, didn't you see all those years that what really made me happy? And what was it? It was you. I just needed you. So that was very important to me. That saved my life. Because then I started thinking, I am important. I am somebody. I want to stay, and I want to stay happy for my daughter. So for the first time, I quit thinking about money, and I quit thinking about my old beliefs. I just wanted to stay happy for my daughter. And to take care of myself, I started doing DoorDash deliveries in 2019. And while I was delivering food, I started listening to books. You name it. Think and Grow Rich, E-Myth, The Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I became addicted to those books. And soon I realized a pattern. Number one, every successful business owner had described in every single book that they had gone through a crappy moment in their life. They all had hit rock bottom at some point. So I felt a connection. So I went from feeling like garbage to feeling like, wow, I'm connecting with successful people. Maybe, just maybe, if they were broke like me once, and I am super broke right now, if I follow their path, I still could be successful. That was the first pattern. The second pattern was I felt that every successful person knew my mom and my dad intimately. Because in their books, they would describe what a successful person does and what an unsuccessful person does. And they were always describing my parents and my friends and my community. And I was like, oh, so I just need to stop thinking about what I used to believe. One of the main things is that if I am the cheapest person, people are going to hire me. So I had to abandon that. So after I found that motivation, I decided to try construction again at the beginning of 2020. And I went back as a painter. And one thing that was very important that I learned, that it sounds a little cliche, but I learned about vision for the first time. I learned about goals. I studied the brain and researched the impact that dreaming about the future and thinking about the future and writing the goals on the paper, I learned how big of an impact that has in our lives. And that changed my life. From one employee, I went to the second employee. And soon I remember, I cannot sell cheap. I cannot sell cheap. I'm trying to, then I started doing bathroom remodels. And I was selling bathroom remodels at $10,000. But the cost to remodel the bathroom was $10,000. What would you guys do in that situation? Now I want to hear from you.
Raise the price.
Raise the price. But I was broke. I was stressed. I was feeling like a failure. I needed to pay rent. I was giving lots of estimates, and I wasn't closing. How would I raise the price? How would I raise the price and still close on that project? Why weren't people closing with me?
Maybe they thought you wouldn't do a good job.
There we go. I learned about vision. I learned about thinking in specific details what I want to become. One of the things I learned was like, okay, what I want to become a successful entrepreneur is nothing unique. There are people doing what I want to become. So I found mentors and I started looking at them. The way that they advertised online, the way that they ran their systems in the company, the way that they presented themselves. And I started to copy or just doing like they did. It's that simple. So here in this class, you guys want to open a business. I want to continue with my story, but let me make a point right now. You all said you want to open a business. Do you know what type of business you guys want to open? I saw you nodding your head. No idea? Okay, no idea. Who else has no idea? Who knows the type of business they want to open? Okay, Tucker, what do you want to do?
I want to go into the aerospace industry, and then after I have experience, I want to open my own aerospace company.
Awesome, something related with aerospace. Let's put Tucker on the spot then. If all of us were to open an aerospace company right now, how would we build that business?
You'd have to be better than the rest.
Hold your thought. What is it?
That you have to be better than the rest.
You have to be better than the rest.
That's what I was just gonna say. I was just like gonna say, just become the best at it.
Okay. How do you know if you're better than someone?
I guess by like, I guess I don't really know. Like, if you're like companies just doing better than theirs, I guess I don't really know.
Now, this is emotional intelligence. When you're opening a business, you have to compare your business to other businesses. But do not compare yourself to other business owners. Don't take it personal, okay? That could break you down. You are you, you have your own story. Don't compare yourself to other people, but when it comes down to business, please compare your business to every other business in the same industry than you. That's the only way to know whether or not you're doing good. So, the way to build a successful business is very similar to building a house. So think at it as a house. Who wants to build a house here? You want to build a house for yourself, right? Okay. What is the first thing that we have to do when we want to build a house? Foundation. Love it. You get on the job site and you start building a foundation. Let's draw a foundation right here. Let's do something like this. This is a very popular one. Over here will be the garage. Over here will be the bedrooms. Maybe a bathroom here and a laundry, living room, kitchen, something like this, right? You start building a foundation. What comes after the foundation? Framing. Then you do roofing. Then you do drywall. Then you do tile. But what happens if you get to the part where you're doing tile and you realize that you forgot to add the bedroom for your daughter, you forgot to add your office, you actually forgot to add your dream car garage because you have a boat, a trailer, and a bunch of toys? What happens then?
You have to restart.
Can you say louder?
You have to restart.
You know how much money that costs?
A lot.
That's when you're gonna feel like a failure. That's when you're gonna have stress. All because of what? One mistake. And what was that mistake?
You forgot to add something.
You forgot to add something. I'm gonna put you on the spot. When I asked what you do to build a house, you said foundation. That is the worst thing you can do. Let me bring that to business. When I decided to open a painting business, my foundation was a painting brush. I got a painting brush, I got a roller, I found the first client, and I was rolling the walls. I was like, I'm going to be rich. I almost killed myself. It was a nightmare. This mistake happened because the client did not visualize the future. If this homeowner had spent detailed time thinking about, what do I really want? Do I want a tiny garage or a big garage? Well, it depends. What are you going to put in your garage? Oh, I want to put a 30-foot long boat. Okay, so you need a big garage. What else do you need to think about when you're building a house? Do you really need 3 bedrooms?
Unless it's practical.
No, how do you know if it's practical or not?
If you actually like have a family, then you'll need more bedrooms. But if you don't, you just need 1 bedroom.
That's easy. And what if the person says, okay, I'm just going to build 3 bedrooms, but I want to have 7 kids?
Then you're gonna wanna.
you're gonna need more bedrooms, even if it's small little ones to put the teenagers.
Looks like cells.
It's like cells. But are you guys getting the message? When you want to build a home, the most important professionals are the designer and the architect. We builders, we just execute. That's it. We just look at the plans and we're like, all right, if that's what you want, I'm going to build it. By the end, if you're not happy, that's your problem. Demo and start over. The most important professional in construction are the designers and the architects. Why? Let's hear from you, my man with glasses right there. What's your name?
Brian.
Brian, why do you think the architect and the designer are the most important ones? They create the initial plan. They create the vision. For business and for your personal life too, guys, you cannot start with the foundation. You have to start with a piece of paper showing the details of your business, of your life. This is what we call vision. The architect is so important because he helps you visualize the business on the paper. The construction documents, you see the floor plan, then you see elevations, which is almost like a picture of the front of the house, the left of the house, the right side of the house, the back of the house. And what makes an architect better than the other? Need to hear from the ladies. What's her name right there? Kay. What do you think makes an architect better than the other?
How well they're able to please the customer.
There you go. How do you please a customer as an architect?
Putting as much needs as they want.
Needs, I like that. You please a customer as an architect, helping them visualize the most. My architect is the best because he not only does the drawing, but he does 3D rendering. So before you break ground and you do the construction, you actually visualizing details. He has in software where you put those goggles, those funny goggles, and then you imagine yourself walking into the house. You imagine the height of the walls, the colors. Then you look at these fireplaces like, oh, I hate that. I'm glad I saw that. This is awful. Let's do a different one. Let's do it bigger or smaller. So you feel good about it. Then once you feel good about it, you sign off and you move on. Then you break the foundation. Business is the same thing. The more you spend time thinking about the future, the better off you will be. Don't stress about it. It's a journey. But start knowing about the future. And remember what I said in the beginning? A business reflects your personality. So before opening a business, one thing that you also have to do is to think about your own self. What do you like? What do you hate? And you have to establish a few standards. There are at least 3 types of business for Anderson. Let me see where I'm going to use some space right here. I'll just do it right here. 1, 2, and 3, just to help you visualize. Business number 1 is the worst one, is the one that tends to cause a lot of stress if you want to go big, okay? Now, I'm assuming that everyone wants to go big. If you don't want to go big, if you just, what is a small vision for me? It's just having enough for you. It's having a nice home for you, a nice boat. It's having money in the bank so you can travel the world and be happy with your family. That is my small vision. That is the very basic you deserve. What's your name?
Coleman.
Coleman. I love your hair.
Thank you.
What place in the world would you like to visit?
Europe.
Europe. What part?
Spain.
Spain. I like Spain too. How much do you think it costs to visit Spain?
A lot.
What is a lot?
$10,000.
$10,000? Yeah, that's about it. How many times do you want to go to Spain?
Once.
Just once?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you go anywhere else?
Yeah.
Where?
Maybe like Australia.
Oh, I love that. So maybe you need 20,000.
Yeah.
10 for Spain, 20 for Australia. I want to travel the world, so I think just for trips, I probably need $1 million. because I want to get to know the whole world. But anyways, but something basic is to have at least some money to travel to your favorite place, your basic needs, right? What is big to me? It's when you have the basic for you and you are capable of helping other families throughout the world to have their basic as well. I want to have millions not because I want to buy a multi-million-dollar car. I want to have millions because I want to go back to the place, the poverty where I grew up, and teach those kids that if I did it, you can do it too. Because me growing up in poverty, being poor, I didn't know I was poor. I was a happy kid. My house used to be right in front of a railroad, and we had some cargo trains that would come around. At your age, one of my hobbies was to go on top of the cargo trains and jump from one to another. Of course, my mom was not allowed to see that. Because
While they were moving?
no, if they were stopped, we wouldn't even look at them while they were moving. So we had fun. We were 200% stupid. And I was such a happy kid. The only time I felt sad was when one day I got home and I was starving. And my mom was crying. So I knew she wasn't a good day because my mom was very depressed. Most of my life, I remember my mom very depressed because she didn't have the money to provide for us. So I went straight to the kitchen. I wanted to cook something. I opened the kitchen cabinet doors, and it was empty. Okay, I'm exaggerating. There was one bag of rice, and I didn't like rice. I was 15 years old. I remember staring at that little thing of rice and thinking, okay, I'm just going to close this. But it's almost like a voice told me, Anderson, stop. Open this cabinet again, and I want you to memorize everything you see now. I remember the bag of rice. I remember the cabinet. I remember the color. I remember that vision. And that became a mission to me. That became a purpose in my life. I promised myself that no one in my family would ever go through that again. And that as long as I live, I would do everything so people in this earth would never go through that. So actually doing this right now, sharing my story, is my mission. And I go to Brazil and I meet kids that were in the same situation. I teach them that they don't have to live like that. But for me to be in Brazil, like in December we're going to go to Brazil, I'm going to be there for a month. I cannot do that if I work at Walmart. I have to be able to be in Brazil knowing that there is something making a lot of money for me. So that is my drive, Anderson. You are going to have to find yours. Okay? Where were we? Let's go back to this story. What was I talking about? Oh, the 3 types of businesses. So the business number 1 is the business that provides no freedom to you. What's the difference between a business owner and a self-employed person? Guess. You're welcome to guess. You're welcome to start doing your failures in life right here. Please.
Isn't self-employed like when you're just working alone and you just do like everything on your own, and then a business owner is like where you actually have clients and it's like running constantly?
I thought you were going to get it wrong. You got it right. You did it perfect. You're ahead of the game. That's the difference. What's your name again? Mary. When I became a painter, I was a self-employed, but I was really dreaming about business 3. I started with business 1. So what is business 1? I was painting, then someone called. I would stop. I would paint halfway off the wall. I was like, okay, just a second. Hey, hold on. I'll come back for a wall. I would run to another house, give a bid. I can start next week. Bye. See you later. And then I would go back, stop at Home Depot, buy the material, negotiate material, and then go back to the house and then post on Facebook. I was one-man show. Do you know how much you can do when you are one-man show? Not a lot. You can do enough as per human limitations. Now, that's why you need to get to know yourself, because some of you might be very happy here. For instance, a lawyer. A lawyer can still pocket about 40, 50,000 a month working by himself. That might be happiness for you. That's not happiness for me. $20,000 per month for me is nothing for Anderson, okay? There are many people here in Utah that live with an average $6,000 a month. So that's business type 1. When you run the show, you do everything. Business type 2 is where I am today, is a transitional business, where you're not the main man of the show, but the business still relies on you. So right now, what time is it? 8:30. I have workers in Saratoga doing an addition. I have workers in Park City doing a remodel, another Park City job, and I have workers in at least 3 other places, in Sandy, and I'll meet with a client. That's why I'm here. Had you guys caught me 9 years ago, I would say, no, I'm sorry, because I got a wall to paint. If I'm not there, the wall is not getting painted. So this is business number 2. The problem is, I have to meet with a client tonight at 4. I am the only one that does that. So business number 2 is when you're in between. You already have several people working for you, but some of the most important decisions of the business still rely on you. So I'm still the one who makes the future of the business. I still do the strategies. I am still the one who looks at marketing, sales, estimation, daily operations, and accounting and purchasing, every department, and set goals for all of it. That's business number 2. Some of you might be very happy in this business. We're going to the 3rd year selling over $1 million already. My goal is to sell hundreds of millions. And then we have number 3. Guess what is the difference of business number 3? So this one only relies on you for everything. This one relies on you partially. This one, how much does this one relies on you?
Not very much. Not very much.
Almost nothing. In my industry, a great example of business number 3 is Big D Construction. They built the airport. Jacobson Construction. Business number 3 is the type of business that when the owner dies, the business is still kicking butt really good. The business owner can be in Hawaii for a whole year, and it will still do good. Who wants to be business number 3? Oh, no, let's do this again. If you want to be business number 3, your elbow needs to be above your head. Right here. I want to be business number 3, guys. We all want to be business number 3. There is nothing wrong with that. But let me tell you, remember the foundation example? The problem is that many people want to be business number 3, but they go straight to number 1. To become business number 3, okay, knowing what I know today, what would I do? Do you think I would buy a brush and go paint a wall? What do you guys think I would do differently? Let's hear it.
Pay someone to go get a brush and paint a wall.
Pay someone to go get a brush. There we go. That's why people say that business is expensive. So you heard that business owners, we also are decision makers, right? So we start with a problem here. Who over here has $500,000 right now and you could invest in a business? No one yet? Oh, I didn't either. How would you do that? How would you start a business like that? There you go. That's where you start learning about, but would you really get yourself a $1 million loan or a $150,000 loan? Why? Why not?
Because I don't have the credit, and I don't know. Not right now, at least.
Okay.
I don't think I could pay it back.
You guys see the difference between buying a brush and painting a wall to, I don't think I'll do a loan right now because I don't have the credit. I'm not sure if I can pay it back. What if I told you you do have the credit? Could you pay it back?
Maybe. I think if I really worked on it, I could. If I got a $115,000 loan, I could probably pay it back eventually.
How do you know about it?
Well, I mean, even if the business doesn't work out, I'd put all the money into the business, and even if it didn't work out, eventually I'd be able to get a job paid off.
Okay.
Older, going through college.
Remind me your name?
I'm Cage.
Cage. My answer will be, am I saying it right, Cage?
Tage with a T.
Tage.
Yeah.
Tage. The answer would be, you only get a business loan if you know for sure that's going to work. Now, how do you know for sure if it's going to work? You don't? Okay, I like that. That's wild. Economy could break down. But you can't know 100%, but there are things you can know.
Your plan.
Plan. There's something called market research. For instance, if you wanted to open a business selling water bottles from China, how would you do a business research on that?
Like the water bottle market.
Yeah.
So many people are buying it, so you see who's buying it.
Yeah. That's all you do. That's simple. So when I want to open a new business, I actually pretend I'm selling already. So I would find the product in China, and I would announce it, and I would study how many people are interested on it. And if 100 people ask for that water bottle, and you think, holy moly, I got 100 people interested already. If I buy it for 1 and I sell it for 2, I will make a lot of profit. Would you feel better about getting a business loan?
Yeah.
You would go for sure. Your face changed. When I first asked you, you were like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's very different when you have a plan. Like saying $115,000 loan. I mean, I don't know what I'd use that for, but if you're buying a $115,000 loan for your water bottle company, then I think it's different.
Yeah. If you're getting $150,000 from SBA or any other place, knowing that you will get $300,000 back, you do it. That's it. And how do you know about it? The architect. Remember, you need to draw your vision. You need to draw. That's how you spend time in the future. Would you be happy selling water bottle? Maybe you would, because maybe you're in Hawaii, just like, oh, another order came in. Let me go to the ocean. Maybe you would. This is what I mean about planning. You say, same thing with the painting company. The painting company, what I would do today, I would invest in marketing first. I would invest in making sure that when people open my website, they feel good about it. So I'm running out of time right here, but this is really fun. Are you guys having fun?
Yeah.
Why? Tell me, why are you having fun?
I think it's interesting. I want to learn about it.
Cool. There are so many things still to learn. I won't be able to cover it. So let me tell you just how I made the jump. Like, okay, how did you go from business number 1 to number 2? And I am planning on going to number 3, okay? But how did you go from everything relies on you to now you got several employees? Last year, I think I 1099 like 40 companies. So I had 40 companies working for us. That's a big difference for just a painter. The number one thing is, remember I was selling bathrooms for 10, but they cost me 10? I had to learn how to sell bathrooms for 30. Would you guys pay $30,000 to remodel your bathroom?
It was a really good remodel.
It was a really good remodel. No, but here's the thing, Tucker. I come in and I charge you 30, and 4 other companies charge you 20 and 10. Would you still hire me being the most expensive guy?
I mean, I guess it would kind of just depend, like, what I would want, and, like, I would probably look into other companies, too. But, like, I'd also see, like, how the quality of their jobs and seeing, like, the difference between your company and theirs.
Awesome. I love that. Mary, how long do I have?
You have till 45.
45,
I was gonna
okay.
tell you when there's 5 minutes left, but there's
Okay.
a flare, so I was like trying to find
That's okay. All right. So in the 5 minutes left, I'll tell you the secret. The secret was the best day of my life that changed my business was when one day an American guy asked me to hire other workers for him. So I was already in construction. I was trying to act as a contractor. And so I called a few electricians, only 2 showed up that day. The first one, this was a big mansion, right? And we had to swap out some big chandeliers in a really high ceiling. The first electrician, he walks into the house, and this is what he does. It's like, hola, ¿cómo está, Anderson? What's the job? I was like, yeah, we need to do this. And I was like, going to be expensive. I mean, we've done it, but it's going to cost a lot of money. We can do it, but it's going to be very expensive. I'm telling you. Okay, all right, just give me the cost. So he went home, and he sent me a bid. It was $3,500. The next guy, he walks in like this. Hey, Anderson, how are you doing? Good to see you, man. So what are we doing? I was like, I need to do this. What's the new chandelier? It's this one. Oh, man, that's going to look so good. I've done this so many times. I've done several homes like this. This is a great choice. I love it. I can see how this is going to turn out. He charged me $5,000. Guess who I hired? You really think I hired the more expensive guy?
I think so.
You're right. Why? I just lost $1,500 in this transaction. Why did I hire the more expensive guy?
Because he's more assuring.
More assuring. Because of the way he made me feel. This is the last 5 minutes. Remember, business is not about money. Business is not just about vacation. Business is about people with emotions. Every business, every profession is about helping other humans. And humans have feelings, both your employees. How do I retain my employees today? Because I am at a point where I do get lots of calls from clients, but you know what is the best thing ever? What's her name again? Noah, the best thing ever. Guess what it is? No, you won't guess. Because this one is a hard one. I'll tell you. The best thing, Noah, is when other workers call me saying that they want to work for me. Why does that make me feel good?
Because they know your company is good.
Because they know the company is good?
They know you're like a good boss.
They know I'm like a good boss. I give them a vision. Were you going to say something? Were you going to say something, babe? Okay. That's it. So I give them a vision. So both my employees, my workers, and my clients, I work with their emotions. So that was my top number one secret for sales. You're welcome. Make them feel good. So instead of walking into a bathroom now and be like, it's going to be very expensive, I'm telling you. Can you even afford it? That's not what I do. Just yesterday in Lehigh, I walked into this bathroom and I said, this is going to look amazing. I love your choices. I've done similar bathrooms to this. I'm so excited to, even if you don't hire me, I'm so glad you're doing this. This is the right choice. You're going to be happy. And I hope we have the honor of being the one you hire. Plus, here we go. Here's the 10 phone numbers of the last clients we worked with. Call them and ask them how they felt about working with us. Do you guys think I closed the job or no?
Yeah.
We start on Monday. And I was over her budget. For me to get to that point, I had to work on myself. I had to work on my mindset. I had to understand who I was and my potential. I had to learn that just because I was born in poverty, I didn't have to live with the scarcity. What's that word, babe? Scarcity? I always say scarcity. The scarcity mentality. You have to live with the abundant mentality, with the positive mentality. And that changed my life. That changed my business and brought me to this level, number 2. Now, because I have this goal of owning a business that can run by myself, I make decisions differently than if I just wanted to stay here. I am happy, guys. Right now, as for right now, I make more money than a lot of people I know, and I could just settle. I really could just settle. But because I want to build a business that relies 100% on me, instead of me making $200, $300 a year, I need to build a business that pays at least 5 people $200,000 or $300,000 a year. And that changed the way I make decisions now. Instead of just going to Hawaii and spending the whole year there, I actually look for more investors. I look for more banks because I want to buy developments. I want to buy communities. I want to stop doing 1 to 2 million transactions and start doing 30 million transactions because I have what? The vision. So my invitation for you guys today is start working on your vision, start working on what you guys like. And we got 1 minute for questions. And I hope I covered most of the questions you sent me. I think I covered them all.
Yeah, you got it. I thought it was good.
How should we start if we don't have very much money?
How do you know you don't have enough money? Start by finding out for sure what you want to do.